Hey guys, Matt here from Lano Equipment, and I have a brand new Kubota U17 mini excavator beside me today, and attached to it, a brand new CMP HG41 hydraulic rotating grapple. I'm going to cover a bunch of specs on this unit today, including the grapple itself. Let's dive into it. So this machine's powered by a 16 horsepower Kubota diesel. It weighs roughly 3,700 pounds with a lift capacity of 1,140 pounds. It has a max digging height of 11 feet 7 inches, a max dumping height of 8 feet, and a maximum dig depth of 7 feet 7 inches. And the bucket breakout force on this machine is roughly 3,420 pounds. So let's move back towards the house of the machine. So this machine has a variable track width, so you can actually make the tracks wider or narrower depending on what confined spaces you'll be crawling through. Also, the blade up front here you can actually make wider as well, just with the use of these two pins. It's just your standard blade, so it's only going to go up and down. There's no angle option involved on this one. But the exact widths, so at the narrowest, this machine is roughly 3 feet 3 inches, and at its widest, it'll go to 4 feet 1 inch. So moving to the back side of this machine, this is a true zero tail excavator model. So when you think of zero tail, when you're turning the house of this machine, you're not going to have any encroachment beyond the track width. This machine also makes use of the independent boom and stick. So using a foot pedal, you can pivot the boom at the bottom here for other functional uses. And also comes standard with the work light on the boom as well. So like I said before, we have a CMP HG41 hydraulic rotating grapple attached to the end of the stick here. But you can get a quick coupler with a standard bucket. We have seen thumbs accessorized on these too, so there's a ton of options you can get as far as attachments that go with these as well. So this is a brand new CMP HG41 hydraulic rotating grapple, or Hydra grapple as it says on the side there. This size is generally used for machines ranging in the 2,500 to 4,500 pound range. It's roughly 150 pounds. It's 27 inches wide total when it's fully open and 10 inches deep on here. So when you're thinking about using a grapple like this, I would say boulders, if you're moving rocks, roughly in the 12 inch to 14 inch size. It has a single rotational motor, and there's also a non-rotating option that you can get as well. But all these CMP grapples are made with high tensile steel, and the tooth kit will come standard on this. So the hydraulic components, especially how you're going to be rotating and operating that grapple, is going to be used on this left switch here. So you'll have control options on both sides of your left foot pedal here. This right foot pedal will control your boom pivot functions, and then an electric diverter switch for the grapple will be plumbed all the way up into your left joystick right here. So right now, this Kubota U17, it's at its narrowest track setting, so 3 feet 3 inches. So what you can do in very narrow confined spaces, you'll be driving through, say, an opening of a backyard gate or a fence. So this is at 3 feet 3 inches, and so is the blade. The blade also has options to expand just by the pulling of these two pins on either side. And like I briefly covered before, you can widen the tracks on the bottom here to a width of around 4 feet 1 inch. So the controls in this machine are pretty basic. You have your crawler controls, both sides right here. I covered briefly before, but you have your rotating grapple hydraulics that'll be plumbed in on the left side here. And then your boom pivot functions will be on the right foot pedal on either side here. Going over to the two joysticks, once you engage your hydraulics, this will control your house, so turn, rotating, and then your boom functions, and this will be your stick and bucket functions on the right side. This lever right here controls your blade, or if you pull up on this lever, it'll control how wide your tracks are, or if you're narrowing them as well. Push that back down, you go to the blade function. This little green button right here will control your 2-speed travel. This is your throttle, which will control your speed and RPMs. You have your diagnostics, so engine temperature and fuel levels right here. Your work lights are going to be on the right side towards the back of your control panel, and then just your key engine on and off switch. And then just on the left side here, you just have this lever to pull up to disengage the hydraulics, and then just your seat belt. So when you're looking at an excavator of this size, think of small, tight, and confined spaces. Most people that we have come in are using these for landscape projects, especially if you have to get in and out of tight spaces to get to where you're going to be using this machine to dig or lift objects. So think of like window wells, small landscape projects, digging irrigation, digging footings for pouring concrete, anything like that, or even transporting landscape pavers or large boulders, removing that, especially with the CMP grapple that we have attached on this. But another thing to consider, since this is a zero tail swing excavator, you can get up close and personal to tight spaces. Say you're right next to a house digging a window well, so you can get not right next to it, but pretty close to that wall without having to worry about the back of this machine spinning around and tearing off the siding of the house while you're transporting dirt and piling it up, I guess anywhere you're putting that pile. Same goes for trees, or if you're confined by, any other structures really. But that's really the primary use we see these in is, when you want a smaller excavator, you want the digging power, horsepower, you go with a zero tail swing excavator, especially one the size like this at roughly, 3,700 pounds. This thing will get you into any space. It'll clear out basically anything you want, but size-wise, this is the perfect fit for any tight, confined project that you're going to be working on in the future. And that is the Kubota U17 and CMP HG41 hydraulic rotating grapple. Please like and subscribe for more content. If you're interested in a setup like this, contact any Lano sales team member today. We hope to see you down here.